Hello everybody, Amethyst Moonflower here today, back on Sunday, like I said, and as you can see by what you are looking at, today is crystals, and I'm sorry I wasn't able to do this outside. The weather is just really bad today, and it's cold and snowy, and I wasn't going to stand out there and freeze to get, the best daylight light. So I just have a bunch of indoor lights just shining down on top of all my crystals, and I'm trying my best to be able to show you really the best view. And I may eventually redo this outside when the weather is nice, but I know I've already promised you guys a couple of times that I was going to do my crystals. So without further ado, I'm going to do a quick little run through of my crystal collection, and this is I would say it's a fairly large collection, but I have seen some way bigger collections, and as you can also see, I have some that I have a lot more of and some that I only have one or just a couple of. So, but as we will go through, I'll just talk to you a little bit about each one, and we'll get started here. So, in the middle, one of the biggest piles that I have here is my amethyst pile. I have varying qualities and shapes and sizes of, amethyst points and tumbles. And amethyst is one of my favorite stones, as you could probably tell by my name as well, because my name is Amethyst Moonflower, or at least my spiritual name is. This is a crystal point that was on a normal bale, but it broke, so I just rewire wrapped it, and I have it on here that I wear this all the time. This one was my first amethyst point necklace, and I ended up fashioning it into a pendulum, which was my first pendulum. And I'm pretty sure they call this a chevron amethyst just because of the design that's on it, but it's really dark and I love it. And it was my first pendulum, and it still works beautifully. And I also have, here, I gotta come in a little bit closer for you guys. This was my very first ever amethyst chunk that I ever bought. It's not really considered like a point, though, although it does sit at a point, I guess you could say. It's just like a chunk of a low-grade amethyst, but amethyst nonetheless. And this is one of my more recent amethyst buys, which is a very beautiful grape amethyst from Uruguay cluster that I absolutely love. And I always have it on my altar. And yeah, so this is just my very wide range of amethyst. I love working with amethyst. I have it all over the place. Oh, sorry if the camera's a little shaky. I'm holding it by hand because I just feel like it'll be easier to go through everything here. The next plate that we have here is, this is all carnelian. A couple of them I bought individually, but then I ended up buying it in bulk. And this is one of my first pieces that I ever bought of a crystal, and I had no idea what it was in the beginning. But it's just a very unique crystal formation of carnelian, and it's got this really cool eye and all these pretty little dots on the bottom. It's so cool. It's my favorite piece of carnelian. Carnelian is also a really, really great stone to work with, and I love working with it as well. I'm not going to go through the properties of each stone really, just because I don't want to be here all day talking about the properties of each stone. I'm just going to tell you what they are and what I have. This is my fluorite collection. My fluorite tower here. This was the first tower that I ever purchased, and I absolutely love it. It's rainbow fluorite. All these are considered a rainbow fluorite just because they do have all the purples and greens and blues. And this one too also has something stuck on the bottom of it. But yes, I loved this point. it was fairly affordable. It was only like $8 or something like that. But a lot of this is rough tumbled, which means this is how it's just not, it's not a polish. They're just all rough. Except for I do have a couple of them that are polished tumbled. But most of them are rough with varying degrees of color and quality, but they all are the same, and I love working with them nonetheless. Here I have a large bowl of red jasper that I bought in bulk, and I have a ton of. Here I have some lapis lazuli, and so this is all my lapis lazuli. Here is my smoky quartz pile. This is a smoky quartz tower that I purchased. I love working with this. I keep it by my front door most of the time. Ooh, sorry, my back. And then this is actually a smoky quartz, I think, cluster. I'm not really sure if it's smoky quartz, but it matches kind of like what I think that smoky quartz would look like. It might be like a druzy quartz or something like that, but I'm keeping it in this collection. I found that outside. This is one of my first smoky quartz that I've ever bought, and it's very dark, and it was bigger, but it's broken over time. And some other smoky quartz tumbles that I have purchased. This one is one of my most recent purchases. It's just it's a quartz with it's a tourmalated quartz crystal point. It's just clear quartz with black tourmaline rods going through it, and I absolutely love working with this. Oh my gosh, it's one of my favorites so far, and it's got such a great clearing, balancing energy about it. And this egg was a gift from my mother. I have no idea really what kind of egg it is. She wasn't even sure what kind of egg it is, but she's always been like a collector of eggs. And so she just gave it to me, and I'm not sure what kind it is, but if I can get it in some light here, some nicer light. If you have any idea what kind of stone this is, leave it in the comments below. Let me know what you think it might be, because I'm really interested in finding that out. And then this was supposed to be, because I bought off a Wish, it was supposed to be a black onyx sphere, but it turns out it's nothing more than painted glass, and I only discovered that because the paint actually started to chip off. And I'm only showing this here because I wanted to show you as an example of why you shouldn't buy things super cheap off of uncredible websites or apps such as Wish, because if it is at a really, really low price, there's probably a reason why. But I use it still just because it does represent to me the new moon, and it does imbue that energy for me, but it doesn't do anything crystally because it's not a real crystal, it's just painted glass. But I just wanted to show that to you as a, as a warning. And I have a couple other stones that I'll point that out to as we move along here. And this is a crystal cluster that my husband bought me for Mother's Day about 5 years ago, and it's a celestite cluster, and it's a really light blue, and it's so freaking gorgeous, and I loved it. That was one of the best presents besides this one. A long time ago when me and my husband first got together, I think we was only together for like a year or two, and he gifted this to me, and it's a Larimar, and it's just one of my absolute favorite pieces. I always wanted a Larimar. Larimar is just, oh, look at that, and it's such a big piece. He did say that he spent a lot of money on it, and he couldn't remember what it was called, but he's like, the lady said it was amazing. But I am so happy. It's one of my favorite things, and I'm just so happy to be able to have such a large and beautiful piece of such an amazing crystal. So, Larimar, this is my favorite necklace that I have. And then I have an opalite tower, or pyramid, I should say. opalite pyramid. It's technically not a real crystal. It's a knockoff crystal, but it's still pretty, and I still like working with it. It has very positive vibes, and I enjoy it, so I have one. This is a blue kyanite pendant that I wear. I only have a couple cords that I use for necklaces, so I always switch out my pendants, and I'll show them to you as I go through. But this is my only piece of blue kyanite, and it's amazing. I love wearing it. It has some extremely amazing vibes as well. This is one of my blue crystal necklaces. It's all small chipstone beads. I actually made it myself, and it has various different crystals in the necklace. I think I have here, if I look real close, I have lapis lazuli, aquamarine, blue crystal chip, and some sodalite, I'm pretty sure. You know, pretty much just any blue crystal that I had, I just mixed them all together and created this really pretty, and it's on stretchy, but I can either wear it as like a layered bracelet on my wrist, or I can wear it as a necklace. So I really enjoy that. Really good for the throat chakra. And here I have some labradorite. Some of them have some really pretty flashes on them. These are one of those things where you have to have good lighting in order to see the flash. Ooh, there it is. There's one of those flashes. Love the labradorite. So that's how much I have of that. Here is my big old pile of aventurine, which I used to think was a very like different kind of stone, but it turns out, I just recently found out, that aventurine is just a fancy name for green quartz. So there's that, but that's one of those that I bought in bulk. And this is my clear quartz pile, which is probably my second largest pile compared to my amethyst pile. This is the first sphere I ever bought. I've had this one for about 10 years now. It's a natural clear quartz sphere. I absolutely love this guy. Such great energy. Here is a larger clear quartz point. This is a clear quartz cluster that I found outside. Maybe it would be considered a milky quartz or something like that, but I know it's quartz. And this is my first crystal wand that I ever bought, and it's a natural clear quartz wand. And it too has, I just love working with clear quartz. Clear quartz is one of the best kinds of crystals to work with. It's just so pure energy, you know, it just amplifies everything, and I just think you can never really have enough clear quartz. Here is my pink quartz, rose quartz pile here, and this is a silver pan that I picked up at a thrift shop, and it really needs polish, but it is real silver. But anyways, this is my rose quartz sphere. Love it, love it, love it. And then all of my other rose quartz that I also bought in bulk. And then here's a rough one that I just happen to have laying around in my collection. And then, sorry, I'm trying to steady myself because I'm kind of leaning over a little bit to show you. But this is also another one that I bought in bulk, my snowflake obsidian here. I got tons of it because I kind of feel like that's one of those very useful crystals that you can really need in your collection. And then this is my selenite collection here. I want a selenite tower. Pretty basic. You can get these all over the place. Nothing fancy there. A large selenite wand they actually got for a really good deal. Not too bad price. And this is just a smaller one. And then this is my spiraled selenite wand that I love using for healing work. So those are, and down here is my selenite desert rose. So those are all my selenite pieces. This is my black onyx pile here. Most of it's all rough pieces of black tourmaline. Black tourmaline isn't always like the super prettiest when it's rough, But I do have some smaller pieces that have that more tourmalated look to them. And I also, over the summer, picked up a little black obsidian skull necklace pendant, which I freaking love. I always wanted a little crystal skull, and I finally have one, and I have a feeling that he's just the first of many crystal skulls to come, because there are so many amazing crystal skulls out there, and they're so awesome to work with, and I need more of them in my life. And this is all Tiger's Eye, one that I also again bought in bulk. And this here is my husband's pendant, but I wanted to add it pendulum. I added it in here, black Tiger's Eye pendulum. These are red tiger's eyes. They're, as you can tell, they're more red than the orangey golden ones. And then here I have a blue tiger's eye, one of these. Sometimes you'll also see them being sold as hawk eye. So I have those. And then here is what I like to call the very controversial pile, Citrine. This is my Citrine point. And I don't really care what anybody has to say and what their opinion is about, you know, natural or heat-treated citrine, because obviously I do have heat-treated citrine. And also, here's another one of those really good examples of, you know, mislabeled or fake crystals. They're not fake crystals because they're real crystals, but they're not citrine. They're just clear quartz that was dyed yellow, pretty much. But when I bought these, I was in the beginning of my journey and was not as educated about what crystals were faked or anything like that. So, but I still use them because, you know, they're this really bright, pretty yellow. And this is another one of those examples, which I'm not really actually entirely sure if it's a fake or if it's a real citrine or not. But, I mean, it's still got a wonderful yellow to it. It's not orangey like the other ones are. I mean, I know that doesn't really matter. Sometimes they get... But this one's just... It seems like it's more natural. And this one... When I bought this one, it was labeled as a natural citrine. And it cost money like a natural citrine. And I was pretty freaking positive that it was a natural citrine. But I've had people tell me that it's not. But, you know, honestly, does it really matter? Because at the end of the day, that's what citrine is. It's heat-treated amethyst or heat-treated smoky quartz. And that's how Mother Nature bakes it. And some people bake it in the oven, and some people find it naturally baked in earth. So, I mean, it's technically all still citrine. It's just whether or not Mother Nature baked it herself. And except for maybe these two dyed ones, those are just dyed. But they still, I consider them all citrine, and I use them all the same. So that's my pile. And then here is some lepidolite pile here. Also a really good one for anxiety and stuff like that. So I bought that one for me and my husband because we both kind of, you know, deal with anxiety. A lot of people do. And this pile is actually, I find a little interesting. This is all natural coal. And me and my husband found all this coal, raw natural coal, in our backyard of one of our old houses. The house was like 110, 115 years old, and I'm assuming that it used to have like a coal chute from back in the day, and we found these all along the property. Just natural pieces of coal. So I use those too because coal actually has magical, metaphysical properties as well. And like I said, I'm not really going to go too much over properties and stuff like that in this video. I just want to share with you what I have. And here is some ore quartz. They're technically beads, but they're still beautiful and fun nonetheless. Not natural this way. They're just clear quartz that has been iodized, I think they call it. It's just, it goes through a process that makes them super shiny. And No, you won't find them this shiny in nature, but they're still beautiful and lovely to work with. They have great positive vibes. Here, I have some, this is ruby chips. And this is a larger piece of ruby. And then this is ruby in fuchsite. Because ruby is naturally found in fuchsite or around fuchsite. So it's a separate mineral, but they're found together. And they work really lovely together. And that's my little ruby and fuchsite collection. So yeah, there's that. And ruby's also my husband's birthstone because he's a Cancer. This is my little tiny jade pile. Now, this one's jade tumbled, and this is a jade pendulum, which is also, this was one of my first like store-bought pendulums, and I really like working with it as well. This is Chirophase. Here is blue. Oh yes, this is actually a pile that's another good example for showing when you're first getting into crystals and you think that you're finding something, but you're really not. This is just some sort of dyed agate or dyed something. I mean, I thought it was blue agate and I bought it, and I mean, it is probably agate and it is blue, but I don't, when you look really closely at it, you can tell these are dyed blue. So, I mean, they're great to work with still. They're still, you know, crystals, and they're still blue. So, I mean, if you're just looking for like basic color therapy or some chakra healing and stuff like that on a more like superficial way, I mean, I suppose you could still work with them, and I do still use them when I feel like I want some blue, but they're not naturally blue, I should say. And here is my aquamarine pile. I have a raw aquamarine, and I have a tumbled aquamarine. Aquamarine is my birthstone. So there's those. Those are really special to me. I love aquamarine. These are serpentine. Serpentine is I love the energies that come off of these. Great for meditating, great for grounding. Oh, I love these. I've had these ones for a really long time. They was one of the first, like, larger collection of crystals that I started picking up. I mean, it's not a larger collection, but when I first started buying crystals, I would just buy like one of something but this one, sorry, that's my CDs changing. This one I actually bought like 4 or 5 of them to start with. So that one was that. Here is my sodalite. This is, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little lost here. My moonstone. This is a little piece of peach moonstone, and then these are just your moonstone. And also, just yesterday, I purchased a sterling silver and moonstone pinky ring. So how fun is that? And it's a Cancer full moon when I purchased this, so I feel like it was perfect timing. And then I have some iron pyrite, also known as fool's gold, great for prosperity and money manifestation. I have some hematite here. I also have a couple pieces of garnet. I bought them separately, so they're a little bit different. But this is a larger, darker version of garnet, and then this is a lighter, smaller version of garnet. So there's those. And then we'll go on to my one-offs, I say, because I only have one of these. But this is all pyrite. They're so small, I keep them in a little vial jar, or otherwise I'll lose them. Kind of like this ruby here. I just keep them like this because it's just so much easier to contain them. This is something that my best friend gave to me. She had it for a really long time, and then she just decided to give it to me. And it's a little tiny vial of 24 karat gold. So that's fun. It's super, super thin and super, super fine. It's really not worth much monetarily because if you were to open this, it would just literally dissolve. It's so thin. It's so fine. But it's just really nice to have it because if you want some 24 karat gold energy for prosperity, Oh, that is the key for me. So that's what I use. Like I said, it's not really like you're going to get, it's not like you're going to get a ton of money just because of this. It's so really not worth much, but yeah, it's just fun to have in the collection. Here is some red fire agate, some Botswana agate, and some mossy agate, or agate, however you want to pronounce that. Here is some Picasso jasper, Dalmatian jasper, and zebra jasper, or at least that's how it was labeled when I bought them. So Picasso, Dalmatian, and zebra, all jasper. And then I have a piece of cat's eye, which is actually really neat to look at. I love looking at my little cat's eye. Some green calcite, rudolite. Sorry, my eyesight is a little off. Rudolite, bloodstone, bronzite. This is, I'm pretty sure, is onyx. This is some jet. This is sungite. This is rhodonite and malachite. And then I have this really pretty, I'm not really sure, I think it's just an agate tumble, but it's still pretty nonetheless. I love looking at it and working with that as well. It just got this really gentle, calming, soothing energy. And then here is some amazonite, some turquoise, this is raw copper. Well, I guess it wouldn't be considered raw, but I mean, like, it's pure copper. It's a piece of solid copper, and that's great for energy work. And then I have a piece of flint that I found on the ground, but that's fun. And then I have an ammonite. Is that how you say those? This little shell fossil thing. And this is also another little shell fossil that I found on the ground. A piece of petrified wood, and a god's eye, which is technically not a crystal or stone. It's like a piece of glass, but they're super protective, and I've had it for a really long time, and I use it in all of my protective workings. So, and then here is just a box of small crystals that I bought off of Amazon that I like working when I'm doing like small spells or oils or waters or something like that. Something where I just need like a small crystal to slip into the jar. Here are my chakra healing stones that I also bought off of Amazon. And last but not least, this is the wand that I made for myself. And it has an amethyst point on the butt end and a clear crystal point that I put on the tip. And I wrap pure copper wire all around the wand to really direct and conduct the energy. So that's my wand, and that, I'm pretty sure that's my entire crystal collection as of right now, and I really hope you guys enjoyed looking at those. There are some crystals that I was not able to show you today because they are MIA, and either I just cannot find them anywhere, like my peacock ore and my bluish purple goldstone. Technically, those aren't natural crystals either, but they're still really pretty and fun to work with. I don't know where they're at. I just had them, and they're gone. So, maybe I'll have those in another video when I redo this again. And some are just in some workings that I currently am doing. So, here it is. This is my crystal collection, and I'm glad you all came to see what I have. And like I said, maybe I'll redo this video again in the summer or spring when it's gorgeous outside and the lighting is just like perfect and you can really get a great look at them outside in the daylight. So once again, thank you all for joining me, and I hope you all have a great, wonderful day. And I'll be making more videos about crystals in the future, more about how I work with them and how I use them in my day-to-day life and all that fun stuff, properties and things like that. We'll go over them one by one, but that will be for another time. So I hope for all of you that enjoy looking at crystals, you had fun with me today. And you all have a wonderful, blessed week ahead. So mote it be, blessed be.